So one of the projects that I intend to fund with the proceeds from the seed sale, if there are any, is my garden expansion and my new deer fence around my vegetable garden. Alas, I don't have the funds this year to put a deer fence around the flower farm, but that if I make my sales goals for this year, I'll be able to invest in that. Fingers crossed. So what do I mean by garden expansion? Our garden expansion would include adding all of this to the vegetable garden. We're gonna cut down this bush. It has our well pump in it. Our eventual goal, we would like to add a auxiliary manual hand pump to our well pump. They make them, you can retrofit them and not disturb your electric well pump. That way, if we have a power outage, as happens during the summer, we can still access water for our animals, which is really important. My neighbors are amazing. Whenever we have a power outage, they bring me over a couple 5-gallon buckets of water to give to the ducks and chickens. As our number of livestock grow, our water needs are going to change, and I can't keep asking my neighbors to do this. So having a way to get to our water in case of outages is probably a really good thing to do. It's probably very prudent. So the bush will come down, it'll expose the wellhead, and we'll have this area to plant. We also intend to tear up this deck right here. Previously, this whole area was a strawberry bed. While this area is not getting a lot of sun right now, that's probably going to change during the summer. And if it proves to not get a lot of light because of the shading of the garage and the breezeway, I can still use it to grow things like spinach, lettuce, lower light requiring plants. Generally speaking, if you eat the leaves, you don't need as much light. If you eat the fruit, then you need more light. That's why tomatoes do better in full sun. We will put a gate right here that swings inward, and probably put a gate over here. Right here, so that you have this center aisle going into the garden. We're going to line our fence. The fence is going to be wood and welded wire, and we are going to use that fence as a trellis to grow raspberries, blackberries, gooseberries. We're going to plant a bunch of fruiting bushes right along the fence row. We were going to do this around the chicken coop, but with this avian flu outbreak that I mentioned in my last video, we really don't want to add anything to our chicken yard and duck yard that is going to make it appealing for wild birds. Any kind of food source will bring them. Your berries will bring all the birds to the yard, and those birds will bring in highly pathogenic avian influenza, which you don't want your chickens and ducks to get. So anything we can do to distract them from the duck and chicken yard is probably a good thing. Over in this area by the house, we are going to put a series of rather substantial beds that we can then use cold frames over in the winter. So I can winter leafy greens and whatnot. These are going to be rigid cold frames, because one of the things that I learned in my time of doing my fall garden, which you can see is a complete disaster, is the wind. We actually had some stuff growing, but we get some really terrible winds that come through here in both the summer and the winter, and it's really hard to keep frost cloth on for an extended period of time. So a rigid hard frame is probably going to be a better option. We found some plans online. We're gonna build some probably like 4 by 8 foot beds over there, or 4 by 6, or 2 4 by 4s. Not sure. We're still working on the configuration, but it will give us a place to grow some fresh vegetables in the winter, which I think is going to benefit us because it's passive and doesn't use a lot of electricity. We're looking at growing some hydroponics next year. I'm still doing the math on whether or not that's going to be cost effective. Stay tuned. Hey guys, how's it going? Poor Bridget. Bridget is so popular with the roosters that she's kind of going bald. They like to grab her on the head. I feel really bad for her. I really think our coachings have started to lag because the coaching girls have gotten their red combs and wobbles, which is really exciting. Pretty much right now, all we're waiting on. Thank you, Jared. Pretty much the only people we're waiting on, chickens we are waiting on are the lavender Orpingtons, the salmon farfarel, and the Easter eggers. I don't think the Easter eggers have started to lay yet because I haven't seen any pretty colored eggs. But then again, it's kind of a crapshoot. You might not get them. Hello, Frittata. You're looking quite glorious today. Look at that tail plumage. It's hard to believe he's that cute little chicken from the spring. So we're gonna get back inside and continue our seed starting. In my previous video, we started a bunch of artichokes, peppers, eggplants, and a whole bunch of tomatoes. Today we're going to start a bunch of herbs. Herbs are one of those plants that I plan to have an herb garden this year, finally, for the first time in my life, because the environment here is far more temperate. And we're also going to start some flowers that we're going to incorporate in the vegetable garden. We created kind of a potager. One of my previous videos. It's going to be up there. We were kind of going for a French potager type style garden, and one of the hallmarks of the potager is mixing plants or vegetable plants with flowers and herbs so that you have just an overall beautiful place to be that is also really pollinator friendly. So I'm going to start some nasturtiums, the spicy, angry little flowers that taste really good, that I can never say right. We're going to start some of those. We're going to start some borage. We're going to start some different kinds of mints. We're going to start some catnip. We're going to start a whole bunch of things. So stick around, stay tuned, and let's get going. If you like watching somebody starting a whole bunch of seeds, like and subscribe. There's going to be a lot more of this in the future. So I have 3 different pots of San Marzano pole tomatoes here. Which are the last thing I planted. I have an abundance of seed, 4 binders full, and some of it's getting a little long in the tooth. So this has been a really good way for me to kind of clean out my seed catalog and try the things that I've always wanted to try but never got around to because I lived in the armpit of America. I love Houston. Houston's great. They're great people. The weather is not one of those things that I'm particularly fond of. So I'm going to plant these tomatillo. They're gigante. My students who are Spanish speaking would murder me for that pronunciation. Gigante, whatever. Now I'm overthinking it. Tomatillos, because I really have a hankering to can some salsa verde.
this year. I make a lot of enchiladas and a lot of tacos. So salsa is really going to be on the menu as far as it's one of the things we're going to can. I have 2 different varieties of catnip. One of them is from Johnny's. The other one is from the So Right Seed Company. I bought a whole host of herb seeds from them before we moved. Again, sometime in like 2020. And then we decided we're going to sell our house. So all gardening plans were put aside so that we may redo the kitchen. I'm just going to pile these on because they are essentially magic pixie dust. And we'll hope for the best because I heard that germination on catnip is not the best. Oh dear. I may have just sprinkled catnip on my tomatillo seeds. I'm so smart. Oh well. We'll see how this goes. There'll always be time. Honestly, let's face it, the tomatillo seedlings are gonna get much bigger than the catnip, so we'll try some interplanting. Oh dear me. You can tell it's getting late, and I want to get this done. And into the germination chamber so it will grow. And since we're trying 2 different seed varieties, I'm gonna put Grow Right, the label has been Grow Right. Lordy. And this one, Johnny's. Like the catnip, we're gonna do 2 different kinds. Hopefully not on top of any tomatillo seeds. I still can't believe, I can believe I did that. I can totally believe I did that. This first one's from Grow Right. And we're just gonna dump the entire packet in there. Now with this these particular seeds, the catnip and the lavender, I actually put them in the freezer to cold stratify them to convince them that it was winter and that they needed to germinate. So we're gonna see if that helps any. My first batch of lavender germinated okay. My second batch of lavender has not germinated at all. So go figure. I think that's probably a user error. Note to self when pouring them out. Pour them away from the sticky gummy seal. Otherwise they get stuck to the envelope. So I have some primed rosemary. I'm going to put these into one of these big guys. I planted some at the beginning of this winter. Well, beginning of February. And it did pretty well. And then it died. Well, it didn't die, it just stopped germinating. Hoping. So one of my plans, and this is for both, I plan on planting a bunch of perennial herbs like rosemary, lavender, echinacea, yarrow, chamomile, feverfew, to name a few. So I need to have at least a 40-foot row worth of plants to put in my perennial bed, my perennial herb bed. Which means I'm over sowing so I can get some good hardy viable seedlings. which is why I'm oversowing the lavender. It's why I'm oversowing the catnip. Catnip is actually less about bouquets and more about a value-added product because, as you know, I have 4 cats, and cats pretty much rule the internet. Who doesn't want to get in on that chunk of change? Premium catnip products. The thing that I noticed is the rosemary actually did really, really well in the germination chamber, probably because it's a Mediterranean plant that's used to a nice warm environment. And I think I pulled it out too soon, so we're gonna let these guys go a little longer this time. From right to left, left to right, left to right, we have San Marzano pole peppers, catnip, lavender, and rosemary. We're gonna use these little guys to plant things like borage, sage, a few other little things. Actually, I'm probably going to plant pretty much all of thyme, marjoram, parsley, cilantro, most of the basic herbs. And then I'll sell them in little 6-packs, little instant herb garden 6-packs. You know, I have a lot of imposter syndrome. Where this whole endeavor is concerned. I'm terrified I'm gonna mess it all up. And I think that having a win, if we get a win with the seedling sale, will kind of give me a little more confidence in what I'm doing. Okay, so we've got mint, chives, marjoram, I think that's how you say it. Sage, thyme, and lemon mint, which is really kind of a, it doesn't really look like a mint. It's called, I don't know. It says lemon mint. It doesn't really look like other mints I've seen. It's got a really pretty purple flower on it. I don't know if it's related to mint. We'll see. And then we have the balm sticker. Oh, I made another sticker and I forgot. There we go. So we're gonna do bee balm, borage, oregano, cilantro, parsley, and dill. I'm gonna leave both of these out so I can read what I'm putting in each one. I'm probably gonna sell these in 6-packs, just because it seems the like the best deal for people. I don't think people feel ripped off. And one of the things I'm always painfully aware of is, while my direct competition isn't Lowe's and Home Depot and the grocery store, it kind of is. I mean, money's tight right now, and you're asking people to accept that you may have a premium product that they can't get elsewhere and pay a little more. I mean, perfect example. I was at the grocery store picking up some bagels, of all things, a few other items, and I heard a lady in the meat section complaining about the price of chicken. My grocery store sells a line of chicken that's like, it's supposed to be more pro-farmer, but it's like $4.99 a pound, and the lady was like, well, I can just go over to the other big box store and get it for $1, you know, $1.99 a pound, $2 a pound. Why should I pay this much? And that's a really hard question to answer. You know, that's a really hard question to answer somebody right now when gas is higher than it's been since the early 2000s. I mean, I know why I did it before I had a farm where I could grow my own chicken. You know, it was important to me to the welfare of the animals and the food I eat, mostly the animals I eat, is really important to me. But I have the luxury of not having a family of 4 or 6 people. I honestly did not expect my seed starting video to turn into this. But here we are. You know, it's also kind of challenging because, again, everything's really expensive right now. And my entire business is predicated on a luxury item, or what is perceived as a luxury item. How do you convince people that they should spend some of their paycheck on something that is seemingly trivial? So, to answer my own question, why do we... I'm gonna get a little mild political disclaimer. When the conflict in Europe broke out, there was a photographer took a picture of a guy riding a bicycle. Let me see if I can find it. Hopefully it won't get flagged for copyright. I'll put a link in the show notes. That way I don't get flagged for copyright. But it was a guy on a bicycle in one of the smaller towns in Ukraine. And in his basket was a bouquet of tulips and a bottle of champagne. And I remember thinking and telling Everett that his whole world's about to change, but his values are a good time and beauty, because who knows how long, who knows what's going to happen next. And I think that kind of philosophy is what's going to keep small flower growers afloat. We were there. Well, I wasn't. I'm new. But we were there during some of the darkest periods of history. We've always turned to beauty and art to make us feel whole. So maybe that's what's going to happen here. Who knows? I'm just a flower farmer. I'm gonna finish starting my nasturtiums and my marigolds, and I'm hopefully not bumming you out with this discussion, or alienating you. So it's something I'm so afraid of, is alienating people. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see how this garden grows.